Let me click this go live thing first. All right, so we're going to start off our devotion this afternoon, this evening, by first doing a reading from our daily bread. And our reading is entitled, it's taking a bit long to come up, I don't know why. So while I'm waiting on this app to open up, all right, it's here. Our Father's Care. That's the entitlement. That is what it's called. Our Father's Care.
Okay.
And it is centered around Matthew 10 and verse 29. And it reads, thwack. I looked up and craned my ear toward the sound. Spotting a smudge on the window pane, I peered out onto the deck and discovered the still beating body of a bird. My head hurt. I longed to help the fragile, feathered being. In Matthew 10, Jesus described his Father's care for sparrows in order to comfort his disciples as he warned of upcoming dangers. He offered instructions to the 12 as he gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness. While the power to do such deeds might seem grand to the disciples, many would oppose them, including governing authorities, their own families, and the ensnaring grip of the evil one. Then, in Matthew 10, 29 to 23, 21, Jesus told them not to fear whatever they faced, because they would never be out of their Father's care. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? He asked. Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. I checked on the bird throughout the day, each time finding it alive but unmoving. Then, late in the evening, it was gone. I prayed it had survived. Surely, if I cared this much about the bird, God cared even more. Imagine how much he cares for you and me. As reflection, I want you to ask yourself these questions. How have you seen God care for you in the past? And how can you gain courage for all you face by understanding that you're never outside of your Father's care? So this passage here is basically saying to us that if God can care so much for a penny, or for a sparrow, sorry, that is only probably worth pennies. Just imagine how much he cares for us. And we can see that God cares for us a lot because God sent his only begotten Son to die on the cross to save us from our sins. That alone shows how much God cares for his children. That said, we're gonna sing Cast Your Burdens upon Jesus. And then we'll prayerfully though, and then we'll repeat the Lord's Prayer. Cast your burdens on Jesus, he cares for you. Cast your burdens on Jesus. He cares for you. Higher, 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 higher. Lift Jesus higher, 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 higher. Lift Jesus higher. Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thine kingdom come. Thine will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Good morning, good night. Good night, more. All right, so we are at the topic parts of speech. We've done nouns, and last week I actually went back through what nouns are and the different types of nouns. So just quickly recapping, just quickly running through. My computer is a bit slow, so just forgive me. So we say that nouns, they are naming words, and they will name a place, a person, a thing, an animal. Now we have different types of nouns. I'm just running it through so that if we have any new viewers, then they can be in tune in what we're doing. We have nouns can be characterized in different ways. So they can be concrete or abstract. They can be either proper or common noun, singular or plural noun, or nouns can be collective. So with the abstract noun and the concrete nouns, for the abstract nouns, there are things that are intangible, things that we cannot touch, we cannot see. For example, integrity, we want to talk about integrity. If we're going to talk about love, those are nouns that are intangible, they're abstract nouns. For concrete nouns, on the other hand, those are nouns that can be seen and or touched. For example, the boy walks home from school. School, we can see the school, we can touch the school. We can see the boy and we can touch the boys, and those are the nouns in this sentence. Further on to proper and common nouns. And remember that proper nouns are the ones that gives the person, the place, the thing, it gives them the special name. And those special names, when written, their first letter should be capitalized. For the common nouns are general names. It's a group name. For example, a boy, we have a whole lot of boys. So boy would be a common name, and those are not, the initial letters are not capitalized. We go on further and we spoke about singular and plural nouns. And we learned about the different ways to pluralize a singular noun. For example, majority of the nouns that we know of, majority of them, we transform them to their plural forms by adding an S or ES. For example, girl, it becomes girls by adding S. Box, it becomes boxes by adding ES. And we have other irregular forms like child and children. However, how the words are pluralized, it differs. For example, knife. Nouns ending with an F or a FE, we would remove the F or the FE and add VES to make it plural. We went a bit further and we spoke about collective nouns. And these are nouns that name a group of items or a group of things. For example, if we were to talk about the members of a choir, the choir is a collective noun. So this afternoon, we're going to be starting with pronouns. I'm going to share my screen so that Simone and anyone else who is viewing on YouTube might see what I'm doing. Give me a minute. Let's see if I can put it in read view. Okay, so pronouns. Learned a pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. So if we are to read the sentence, Gerald took a bath earlier in the day. Gerard took a bath earlier in the day. Simone, what's the noun in that sentence?
Gerard.
Not hearing you, Simone. I'm hardly hearing you.
Gerard.
All right, so Gerard. So Simone, the first noun that Simone recognized is Gerard. So Gerard is a noun, and that noun, we're going to change it to a pronoun. Remember, a pronoun is the word that usually replaces a noun.
Yes.
So which pronoun can we use instead of Gerard, Simone?
E.
E. Very simple. Thank you. So E, instead of using Gerard, we would use E. So pronouns takes the place of the noun, and the sentence means the same that it meant when the noun was in the sentence. So nothing changes with the sentence. So just like nouns, pronouns can either be subjects or objects in any sentence at all. And there's an example. He had arranged to surprise him. He had arranged to surprise him. All right, so my finger touched something a while ago. Oh, let's continue. So here you are seeing some subject and some object forms of pronouns. And a list is, oh my finger, it keeps on touching. Let me go back a bit. All right. So here you're seeing a list of subject and object pronouns. So the subject pronouns that you're seeing are I, we, she, he, and you. So the subject pronouns are the pronouns that perform the action in a sentence. It means that in the sentence, they would be the subject of the sentence. And remember, when we want to find out what the subject of the sentence is, we ask the question. Good night, Vivek. Long time. It's been a long time. So when we want to find out what the subject is, or when we want to find out the subject of a sentence, what we normally ask is who or what did the action. So those subject pronouns that you're seeing, remember that they are the pronouns that perform the action in the sentence. For the object pronouns now, these are the pronouns that receive the action in the sentence. So there you're seeing the difference between subject and object pronoun. Subject is the one who performed the action in the sentence. The object pronoun are the pronouns that receive the action in the sentence. So that would be the difference between a subject and an object pronoun. You're always welcome, Vivek, always welcome. All right, let's move on. Any questions, Simone, Vivek, anybody else? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. So just remember, subject performs the action and the object receives the action. So these are, we've done so far subject and object pronouns. And now we're about to talk about possessive pronouns. What do you think possessive pronouns are? By hearing the word, any idea, Vivek? Simone, any idea what a possessive pronoun is? Look at these words. The words are mine, his, hers, yours, ours, theirs. And there's an example. The white dog is ours. So possessive pronoun. What do you think possessive pronouns are?
It shows that something belongs to someone.
Simone, you are so low. Your voice is so low. I'm not hearing you.
Sorry about that. It shows that something belongs to someone, shows possession.
All right. It shows possession. It shows ownership. It shows that something belongs to someone. So that is quickly how you can define possessive pronoun. It is a pronoun that is used to indicate possession or to indicate ownership. And from you see those words, or by just hearing those words, you know that those words are showing that whatever it is belongs to them or to mine or to ours or whoever it is. That is possessive pronoun. My shirt is green. It tells you that the shirt belongs to me. Her dog is small. It shows you exactly who the dog belongs to. Thank you, Vivek. It shows that something belongs to somebody. That is possessive pronouns. And now we are at reflexive pronouns. Look at the words again. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. What are reflexive pronouns? Any ideas? Any idea?
Like it give reference.
Go again, it does.
Give reference.
Could you elaborate a bit? What do you mean?
Settle. Like it means the same thing as
I think you have an idea of what you of what you mean in Simone. Let me try to help you, Simone. All right, so with reflexive pronouns, are you saying that they are pronouns that you use when the subject and the direct object are the same thing? Like if you say, I hit myself in the face with a ball.
yeah.
So if you realize that the object in that sentence and the subject, they are talking about the same person.
Yes.
All right, Teresa Poyle, I'm see you, myself, himself, herself. All right, Vivette. All right. So reflexive pronouns, it has to do with self. If you realize that all of them ends with self, or it could be selves. So with the reflexive pronouns, the subject of the verb and the direct object of the verb are the same person. Example, the sentence that I gave you before. So you could it could also be used in the plural form, like yourselves. And by the sentence that I said earlier, it can be used as a indirect object or a direct object. So that means it can be this reflexive pronoun can be the subject, the receiver of the action, or the person who does the action then. Yes. All right, thank you, Vivette. So all of them ends with not really himself, but self, S-E-L-F, all the reflexive pronouns. Here are some others: oneself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. So the example says, he cut himself while playing with a knife. And this here, we call it a reflexive pronoun. So we have a reflexive pronoun here, and we have a regular pronoun here. So he and himself, they're talking about the same thing. And that's now is how the reflexive come. It's reflecting, the himself is reflecting the person who did the cutting. And we're moving on now to reciprocal pronouns. Any ideas, anybody? Reciprocal? I think you could probably use the word reciprocal and find the definition or come up with a definition. Reciprocal pronouns. Not seeing anything, not hearing anything from Simone. Simone, any idea? Any idea what the reciprocal pronoun is?
Like it identify more than one person.
I hardly heard what you said.
It identifies more than one person.
It identifies more than one person. All right. By looking at the examples, each other, one another. And the example says, they love each other. So a reciprocal pronoun is when two or more people do the same thing. So this is telling you that two persons love each other. They love each other. Two persons love. So with reciprocal pronouns, two or more people will do the same thing. Another example could be, they all support one another. That is reciprocal because we have two or more persons doing the same thing. All right, so Vivek is on a roll tonight. Vivek is on a roll tonight. Two or more persons doing the same thing for reciprocal. Simone, I hope you're making a little jottings, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, relative pronoun now. What are we talking about for relative pronoun? By the way, Simone, how did you get the, hold on, Simone, hold on. Relative pronoun, Simone.
Relative?
Yes.
Uh,
Relative pronoun. Let me see if it's in the chat as yet. Not seen anything from neither Teresa nor Vivette as yet about relative pronoun. Any idea of any definition?
no, me.
All right, so they're called relative pronoun. Let me see if I see anything. No. Because they always relate back to something or to somebody else. So they are used to join two sentences about the same fact, which, who, whose, whom, where, when. So in the sentence, the example of the sentence, it says, the car that you bought is nice. And the car that you bought is nice. So the word that is relating back to the car. It's saying that it is the car that is nice. They're talking about the car that is nice. So it relates back to the car. So it's saying, it's talking about the car, but it is telling you something about the car. It's relating to the car. Nice is being related to the car and not to something else. So relative pronoun is used to when you relate something back to something or back to someone. Let me see if I can find another example. This example says, the lamp that was in the room was broken. So it's telling you exactly which lamp. It's telling you which lamp exactly is broken, the one that is in the room. It's relating to the one that is in the room, not the one that is in the living hall or in the dining room. It is relating to the one that is in the room. That is the one that is broken. So it's relating you or directing you to exactly who or exactly what. I'm going to give you another example. She knew the family whose house we bought. So you see, this sentence, they could have just said, she knew the family. But they're relating the family now to the house. So they're telling you that it is that same family whose house we bought. Any questions? Anyone who doesn't understand, let me see if I can expound some more. No? All right, I'm going to give you another sentence. Let's see if we can see the relationship. No, I think I just read that one. This is the man who broke the window. This is the man who broke the window. So the relative pronoun is basically pointing to you. Which man? Who did what? Exactly who, exactly what you're talking about. It's relating to whoever or whatever you're talking about. So if they're telling you about a window, they're telling you which window. So that is what it does. It relates. All right, let's see where we go next. And now we're at demonstrative pronouns. I don't think I need to explain this one. This one is self-explanatory. Anybody wants to try with this one? Demonstrative pronoun.
You want us to give the answer in the example?
What do you think it is? What do you think demonstrative pronoun is? Anybody? Demonstrative pronoun?
Which means it's used to show identity.
To show what?
Identity.
It's used to show identity. Okay. So it shows you exactly where, if it's close by, if it's far away, so you can identify and tell exactly where it is. So they demonstrate or show which person or thing is being referred to. Say, if I have something in my hand and I say, this is my phone. So once I say this, you know it's close by. So it's demonstrating where or what I am referring to. So when we talk, there are some that are used to talk about singular and some that are plural. So once I say this, what am I talking about? Am I talking about something singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular. What about that? Is that singular or plural? That. If I say that, are you expecting to see one thing or more than one thing?
One thing.
One. So it's singular. Now these, are you looking at more than one or one?
More than one.
More than one. And those?
More than one.
So with the demonstrative pronouns, it tells you the amount, it gives you an idea of the amount, not an exact amount, but it gives you an idea if you're talking about something singular or plural. And it also gives you an idea of how close, the proximity of whatever you're talking about. Because if I say this, it could never be all the way over there, so it must be close by. Am I right or am I right?
All right.
I'm right. All right. And if I say those, are you expecting to see them right beside me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm? If I say to you, get those things over there, I'm not using the word over there. Those are the things I'm talking about. Or I say these. Which one do you think is closer to me in proximity now? Which one do you think is closer? Those or these? These. All right.
Yep.
So you get the drift. You get the drift. Yeah. So those are plural, talks about the plural nouns that are far from the speaker. These, it is also plural, and it speaks about things that are near to whoever is talking. This and that, they're both singular. But this speaks about things that are near, and that speak about things that are far. So that is demonstrative pronouns. You see how much types of pronouns I have? And I don't even think I have all the different types of pronouns here either. So interrogative pronouns now. What do you think? From here, the word interrogative, what comes to your mind?
Asking questions.
I didn't hear that one.
Asking questions.
Asking questions. Thank you very much. So that's 1, 2, it is simple. So the interrogative pronouns are the pronouns that ask questions. Like who, what, where, when, whatever. So, and 2, these are also tools that we need for, thank you, Teresa. These is closer, yes, than those. All right, so for the interrogative pronouns, those are questions too, that when you're writing your stories and so, you need to, your viewers, your readers need to be able to ask those questions and get them from your stories. So they need to know who you're talking about, what you're talking about, why that happened, where that happened, when that happened, when you're writing. So these are all interrogative pronouns. And from you hear the word interrogative, then you know that it have to do with some questions. Now, indefinite pronouns. What do you think about indefinite pronouns? What do you think it is? Anybody? All right, so with indefinite pronoun,
Which it refers to anyone or
indefinite pronouns, it is continue.
said if it's referred to a person or
Yes, all right. Yes, it's not referring to anybody in particular. So it's referring to unspecified person or unspecified things. So if you say anything, bring something or bring anything come. So when whatever it is come to you, you're not supposed to say anything because I said anything or you said something. And if you said call somebody outside for me and the person called somebody, you were not specific. So indefinite pronouns are unspecified. They're not specific, none at all. And again, they can be singular or they can be plural. This other word too, few, is also an indefinite pronoun. It doesn't name a number. You don't give a number with indefinite pronoun. So when we want, sometimes we want somebody to give us something or give us some ideas, and we just say, give me a few ideas. And then if the person ever give you 2 ideas, or give me a few of them sweets there, no? And if the person ever take out too sweet to give you, you see, a problem. Because they did not say two, you said few. That means you need enough more than two. Right, Deisha?
Yes.
Yes. And I don't know if it's only us as Jamaicans, but a lot of times our parents might say to us, they use the number two as being indefinite. Because if you have a snack, say some banana chips or probably some cheese crunches, and your mother come and your mother say, Simone, give me two of those cheese crunches now. And you take out two single cheese crunches and give to your mother. No problem, you know? Because you mean you give me two single ones, but mom, you asked for two. So a lot of times we use the word two as indefinite. And as I said, I don't know if it's only Jamaicans. I don't know if other persons do it as well. All right, so those are some other examples of indefinite pronouns. And so we're moving on to articles. I think we should come back to this one.
Miss, we're gonna get a worksheet.
If we're gonna get a worksheet, I think the worksheet is there now. I think the worksheet is there.
In the chat.
I think so. No, man, it's not in the chat as yet. Not in the chat as yet. So adjectives. Remember, we only did one, you know. So pronouns, we just do pronouns. So adjectives now. And I planned on giving the worksheet like closer to the ending. Closer to the ending or the ending of class.
Okay.
So adjectives are in a short-term, adjectives are descriptive words. So they describe a pronoun or a noun. So adjectives, they usually describe a pronoun or a noun. And they're usually used before a noun, or in some cases, they might come after a reflexive verb. So an example, he is very smart in class. What's the adjective in that sentence? He's very smart. So it is describing, that's the word I'm looking for. It's describing the person. We live in the hottest town in the country. What's the adverb in that? The adjective in that, sorry.
Hottest.
Hottest. All right. Give me a minute. All right, and for this one, oh my Lord. All right, let me just go back a bit to adjective. All right, so here in the definition, you saw where it said that adjectives are usually used before a noun. Now in the second sentence, you saw where the adjective hottest was used before the noun. Right? Now here, smart did not come before the noun in this sentence. Why do you think? All right, I'm not going to pressure you.
So you said I was.
No, I'm just pointing out to you that the definition here mentioned that the adjectives are usually used before a noun. But it says though that in some case they may come after a reflective verb. So I was pointing out also that in the second sentence, the word hottest, the adverb hottest came before the noun tone, because it's describing the tone. But the adverb in this sentence, they did not come before the noun that the sentence is talking about. So I was asking, why do you think that is? What is this? Anybody? Not seeing Vivette and Teresa again. Teresa and Vivette, what's something with you? Let me see, I've seen something in the chat. Let me see what it is. All right, I don't really understand. Maybe I missed this. Maybe I missed this message. Maybe I missed this message first. I don't really understand the message, Deisha.
Louis, I was asking if that the relative pronouns, I was asking if you was going to give us time to answer an example.
For relative pronouns,
Yeah, miss, but it already gone. That's it.
so did you get examples? Didn't you get any example of the relative
No,
pronoun?
miss, I understand. I was asking if that is specific, the relative pronouns.
All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pause right here first. Before continuing to verbs, I'm going to pause a bit. I don't want to give you all at once, so I'm going to stop it right there. And then I am going to put in the chat the, what's it called now? Worksheet. Where is it? So just remember, we did pronouns and we did adjectives. And in the first part, we did nouns. I'm not going to give you another worksheet on nouns. I'm trying to get this thing off reading here. All right, so I'm not going to give you another worksheet on nouns because we passed that already. However, the worksheet that I have here is taking too long to come up, so I'm going to give you a worksheet. Here I'm on the live, so hold on. I'm going to paste it in the chat, and I'm going to paste it on YouTube as well for the persons on YouTube. All right. One computer. All right, forgive me, my computer is just, maybe it did this time, I don't know. All right, so I'm in the Zoom chat. All right, so it's in the Zoom chat, and now I'm pasting something on YouTube. So the link is also on YouTube for the persons on YouTube to complete. Yes, Deisha?
Which one is supposed to use? Which email?
Oh, the one that says student athlete. I'm gonna try and post it in the chat as well. Hold on. Chat. All right, I'm gonna use a different one. Hold on. I'm gonna send it in the chat. Control C. I don't want to write any wrong thing, you know, so I'm copying it. All right, so you can send it to that email address and then post it on YouTube so that if Teresa and Vivette are still here, they can complete it and send it to that email address. So the one that you're doing now has to do with, I think, possessive pronouns. So I think I can probably find one, give you one with object and subject pronouns. You're not going to get all the pronouns. You would need another session. You would need another session for the pronouns to do the worksheet alone. All right, so next class, I'm not going to be putting any worksheets, and I'm just going to give you the worksheet to do for assignments. That's where you can do more. If we're doing worksheets, we're going to be doing them live. Watering. So when we talk about adjectives, so while you're completing that one, let me expound some more about adjectives. So remember that adjectives are words that describes a pronoun or a noun. When we talk about adjectives, we can talk about comparative or superlative adjectives. For the comparative form, that is when we compare one noun to another, or one pronoun then to another. That is for the comparative adjective. So we can say, the dog is bigger than the cat. That is comparing one noun to another. The dog is bigger than the cat. So only two items are being compared when we use the comparative form of adjectives. When we're using the superlative form of adjectives now, we are comparing three or more nouns. Three or more nouns. So we actually comparing one thing against the rest of a group. For example, she is the brightest in the class. So we're comparing one person there now to the rest of the class. And that is where the superlative adjective comes in. So she is the brightest in the class. So there are different ways now how we can actually change from comparative to superlative based on what? Based on the sentence, based on the persons or the amount of persons we're comparing. Finish with the worksheet, guys?
Almost.
Almost.
The first one is finished. You're not finished with the first one?
No, miss.
Okay. So before going on to verbs or any other part of speech in our next class, we're going to be talking about how we know when to change the forms, how we change the forms of adjectives. So that is what we're going to next before we start talking about any other figures of speech. Because sometimes you go out and you hear some persons do it for fun, others don't. We say, I am the goodest person. I am the goodest person. So there are times when we use our wrong forms. So we need to sort that out to ensure that when we're writing, and we soon reach on to the writing phase, where you start writing your paragraphs and you start writing your stories. So when I'm reading, I don't want to see any of these errors. So that is why we are going through all these figures of speech, all these punctuations, all these parts of speech, because it will soon be time for you to do your writing. The other one that is in the chat, I want you to do that one for assignment. The second worksheet. Hello, I'm still in a class. Gosh, too much pain. Okay, ladies, I am going to sign off from YouTube. So I want to thank Vivette and Teresa for joining us tonight. I hope you'll be with us again next week. Hopefully next week will be more interactive and more fun. So we're here every Tuesday, most Tuesdays at 8 o'clock, sometimes a little bit after 8, depending on whatever is happening. Because remember, a lot of times man plans and God has something better or something different in store, or we meet up in certain obstacles that are foreseen. We have nothing to do with it, or we did not predict, or we did not see happening. So hopefully I'll see our other faithful English crew next week, same time, same here, same place. So I'm going to bid you farewell for now. Have a great night and a great rest of the week. And I'll see you guys next week. Remember, watch the videos, like, subscribe, and great things will be in store for you one of these days. Good night.